chilling stuff. Mark Strassman has been following this trial from the beginning. He joins us now from Charleston. And again, Mark, the court heard, among other things, Dylann Roof's manifesto read to them, where he wrote that the Trayvon Martin shooting, and I quote, truly awakened me. And his alleged hit list, of course, as you mentioned there in the piece, of other targeted churches. What can you tell us here?
According to Roof, something about the Trayvon Martin situation just struck a nerve, and he did some online research and came up in his own head with some black on white crime statistics that he thinks suggested that white people were under attack, and again, in his own warped way, apparently laid the foundation for what became the attack on the Mother Emanuel Church. All of this, of course, it was described as a racist rant, and I think that was perfect. I mean, none of this really adds up and makes any sense whatsoever, but in his own mind, he was justifying sharing his worldview of why white people were the victims and black people were the perpetrators, and apparently that is what led to this attack that killed 9 people, Josh.
Now, Mark, we saw in your piece, the gun store owner testified that Roof cleared the background check, but it turns out that he never should have. What happened?
February of 2015, 4 months before the shootings at Mother Emanuel, he's arrested on a misdemeanor drug charge. He had an unprescribed narcotic in his pocket. That did not surface on the 3-day background check. And so by the time, and that was a mistake. The FBI director admitted that was a mistake. And by the time the gun store was notified that, look, you should not sell a gun to this guy, it was 12 days after the attack, 12 days too late to stop that attack from happening. I mean, of course, Roof presumably could have got a gun from someplace else. But still, that was just one more instance of something gone wrong here. And in fact, the families of the victims have sued the federal government because of the mistake that was made in this background check.
Now, the trial will resume today. What do we expect prosecutors to focus on?
Prosecutors, Josh, are bookending this case with victims. We heard from one at the beginning, a survivor of the attack, and we'll hear from one more to close out their case. In the middle, they're building the case against him from an evidentiary standpoint. Today, they're going to be reconstructing his digital footprint. They're going to have, for instance, a GPS expert to talk about how this was not the first time that Roof had been to Charleston, apparently, ostensibly, to scope out potential targets. And that's the sort of impression that they want to leave on this jury, that this was not some random, spontaneous attack. This was a premeditated assault, that the philosophical underpinnings of this and the logistics of this were months in the making, and they want the jurors to come back first with a guilty verdict. This is the prosecution, obviously. First with a guilty verdict, and then they want the jurors to start considering this life and death phase of the trial, the penalty phase, which is really what this trial is all about, Josh. It's really whether Roof gets life or death. His defense attorneys have all but conceded that he's guilty. And so once we get through phase 1, phase 2, which will begin after Christmas in January, that's when this real trial will begin.
Covering it all for us, Mark Strassman there in Charleston, South Carolina. Mark, we thank you.